Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And hello, everybody. So glad to be with you. We're here for another amazing show with Spiritual Rockstar Radio, and have an amazing guest here today. And about to tell you all about him. Can you already feel the energy? Those of you sense, if you can already feel the energy, we're already entering into that shamanic realm. I want to say we're deepening already with my friend here, Gregory Reece-Smith. And he's got a lot of great energy to share with us, incredible wisdom. And he's talking today about CEO to Shaman. CEO to Shaman, a fascinating man. So let me tell you a little bit about him. Gregory Reece-Smith is known as the Shamanic CEO, a CEO and popular business and life coach with an MBA. He has worked in corporate around the world as CEO of a public technology company and CFO of other businesses. Gregory brings to the table several decades of practical experience coaching and advising fledgling organizations to those the size of the international operations of IKEA. So this guy has got the practical know-how on top of all the other good stuff. So as the Shamanic CEO, Gregory helps executives and entrepreneurs synchronize all aspects of their lives so they can accelerate their business, create harmony by shifting the beliefs that limit their lives, completing soul-level healing that spans all dimensions of time and space and penetrates to the roots of the unconscious. The effects extend to all other lives, including ancestral and karmic, helping people move beyond their fixed beliefs to achieve personal and financial freedom where none existed before. So welcome to the show, Gregory.
Welcome, Daniel. Thank you.
So yeah, just fascinating. I mean, I'm just fascinated by you and your energy and who you are and the path that you walked. Going from, I see here, you are an accountant and a CEO, and then you've become a shaman. How did that happen? Tell us about that.
Yes. That's a good question, Daniel. I suppose actually it goes back to when I was 7. And whilst I was in hospital, my father didn't come to see me because he was busy with business. And so what I decided at that age was I needed to be a businessman because that would attract the love of my father. And so it's from there that I then went through university, the idea of becoming a businessman. And so that led me down the business route through corporate, growing up, being a CEO and all the rest of it. And then I had a very intense back pain, so much so that I couldn't drive, go to meetings, virtually couldn't walk. And that was because, in hindsight now, not that I felt it at the time, I wasn't living my purpose. I wasn't being true to myself. And that was focusing on being the businessman, whereas actually what my soul wanted to do was to help others transform. And it's from there that I then opened up to my calling, which was shaman, so in other lives. And so it was opening up to all that then led me from CEO to shaman.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that I think so many people listening in can relate to that there is a path that seemed to be the one that was picked for them, or the thing that seemed to be the logical choice, or the way to survive or to thrive, maybe get by or get ahead in life, and those kind of concepts. And that we just throw out, these feelings and these dreams or aspirations that we have earlier in life, and just let them go. And yet, you know, you've allowed that to happen. You've allowed yourself to trust that ultimately, and to, you know, come back home or to who you are. And
yeah, absolutely. But it needed one or two more pushes on the way, I must admit.
Yeah.
And so what happened in terms of my awakening, my stepping out, was that when I was asked one day by a friend who said to me, well, I've been asked to take you to a place called Avebury, which is part of the Stonehenge complex, and it's a very old stone circle. And so we went up there, and we walked from the circle to part of the complex which is called Silbury Hill. Now, Silbury Hill is actually conical shaped, so it's not natural. And we had 100% cloud cover. Walking along, rain started, and as we were coming down the slope towards the hill, and at the bottom, looking up the hill, bang. Okay, last time I was here, I had renounced my shamanic powers, my shamanic practice, because somebody had died in a ceremony I was performing. And so after I'd given a forgiveness and done the necessary, we were leaving, and through the cloud, which is 100%, big shaft of sunlight came through, straight over the top of Silbury Hill, straight at us. So that was my confirmation in that sense, thank you. And it's from there that I've then taken back, in that sense, or brought forward, if you will, I would put it that way, my shamanic powers, so that now I have no difficulty in using the powers that I've been gifted and have learned over many lifetimes.
Wow. Wow, that's really awesome. I mean, yeah, and we, across so many lifetimes, people that have these gifts, I've connected to a lot of people. I've trained a lot of healers, and I've done a lot of work, done a lot of tuning in people. And universally, I find that people have done healing type of work in past lives almost always have been persecuted in one or multiple past lives for their gifts. And it's so, you know, the fact that, you know, we've set this down, much less if you run into something in this life where something happened and then we're like, oh, wow, better shut it down. And it's always like this safety thing. We keep shutting down who we really are to try to create this sense of like, oh, well, something went wrong and now we need to shut it down, is like the signal we get. So I'm kind of curious what your take is on that, like those limits that build up for us. Like, yeah, tell us more about that.
Yes. What you've described, Daniel, if I step back for a moment, before we incarnate, there is an agreement as to which of our experiences, which of our abilities, our gifts and our skills we wish to bring in with us. And so we start with that basis. And then, as in my case, and probably yours and the others you're talking about, at some stage, we come up against a barrier, something we've done or not done in another life that has basically closed off and diverted us away from our soul's calling. And so, as with my instance at Silbury Hill, opening up, allowing then all the knowledge that I had denied, because that's not just this life, that's the other lives I have led between the one at Silbury Hill and, in that sense, today. So it's opening up those abilities, gifts and skills to come in to allow me in this life to achieve my higher calling, my purpose, if one wants to put it that way. And so, yes, I mean, with work I've done, and it not just healing, but the classic would be the person that was a nun or a monk in another life, vow of poverty. So what have they carried through all the intervening lives? Poverty in one form or another. And so it's being able to help them recover that part, change the belief, I must be poor to be righteous or spiritual or whatever was the agreement.
Wow, how we wall off these abilities and these capabilities from past life issues. Like I said, I've over hundreds of people I've scanned, thousands of people I've scanned, so many people that have that energy of a healer. They've walled off things because out of protection, like out of protection for themselves or even for others. If they've been really powerful, maybe they've used their power. So I was wondering, like, what you've noticed that about that energy and the work you do and for yourself, because you said, wow, this was a big breakthrough, and it's all connected, right, to all the lifetimes is what I see.
Absolutely. And to put it into context, as a human being, I've probably spent, let's say, 700, 1,000 lives on Earth. Well, also, how many other lives have I spent other than on Earth? And those abilities, gifts, and skills are what I can bring in. So it isn't just my experiences in human being terms. So, for example, I've journeyed onto various lives that I have lived where I have, as a result of, say, when I was at Silver Hill, renouncing, walking away from the abilities, gifts, and skills I have, because I made a choice at that moment, and that choice was really to protect myself, or to, and the way we excuse it is looking to protect others, but in reality it's looking to protect myself because of some things happened. And so it's then bringing back those abilities, those gifts and those skills that allows us to evolve as a soul in this life. So, for example, with the way humanity and Earth are evolving at the moment, my belief is that many of us, and I'm including you, Daniel, are here in this life because we are going to be given the opportunity to clear away all those old beliefs that are restricting us in the way we can live all our lives. And I prefer to use the word other lives rather than past lives, because I don't think these are all linear. I think there's a matrix in which we can, in terms of what we would see it, we can be in future and past at the same time. However, if, for example, we have left part of our soul in another life with an event that's caused the part that to detach, then to bring it back means we are now as a whole soul, and so able to evolve as our soul wants us to. And in that sense, that's how humanity evolves, because we as individual souls evolve.
Yeah, I mean, these are the type of conversations that we're so looking forward to here on this show, because these are not the typical conversations that a lot of shows are having out there. It's even the idea of like, well, it isn't really past life. It just might seem like it's past life. It's really everything's happening at once, and it's all, the oneness and all that stuff. And to realize, to make these, to understand really the depth of what's really going on. I mean, my take on it, okay, is that we have infinite lifetimes all happening and all different varieties and types, and we're connected with everything. So it's like, it's just a matter of what we happen to be aware of in this point of consciousness right now, right? So that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to give you another sort of left brain figure, we all have ancestors. Now, if we go back 10 generations, that's basically another 1,000 people we're connected with. If we go back 20 generations, then we're connected to 1 million people. If we go back 30 generations, we're connected to 1 trillion people. So basically, we are not, as many people would think of us, we're just one person. We're connected to all these other people in our ancestral lineage. Therefore, they are influencing us whether we like it or not, because of the actions they've taken somewhere in the lineage that has led to us in this life.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do about that? I mean, so many of my listeners are really empathic and sensitive. Not all of them, maybe, but most of them. So how do you, I mean, when you got things influencing you that you don't, the brain's like, well, I can't control this. I just feel the way I'm feeling right now, right? So how do you deal with that feeling like, how do I manage? How do I control? And then dealing with whatever's influence, just the simple things, even like someone in the house having, you know, it seems like it's them, they've got the bad energy and I got it now and all that stuff. How do we navigate that? Especially like, okay, I'll even give a better example, like to speak to what's happening in our world in a sense, with the political stuff, right? So around the time of this airing, you know, getting ready for another big presidential election here in the States, and the energy is just going to go crazy again, right? All this stuff's going on. And you can't help but to see people getting triggered left and right all over the place. So how do we handle all this energy going on? I mean, what's kind of your take on it all?
Well, going back to my back pain, in that sense, I had one more episode of severe back pain, which was when we were leaving England to move to Portugal, which is where we now live. And that stopped me helping to pack up the house and doing all the necessary things for the move. And that back pain was really flowing through my back, which, if we view it instead of just a physical presence, but a damn great radar receiver, we are picking up all these energies from around us. And then we are demonstrating, we're showing, we're creating something within our body which is based upon the energies that we're picking up. Now, what we as an individual need to do is to understand that these are external energies, not internal. And the internal would be where we're triggered by some belief that we've had, and so we then react to it. But we do not need to react to what we see going on around us, because that's the illusion of what's happening around us. And so if we step back and be the observer rather than caught up in it, we can see the patterns of the thing and allow ourselves, in that sense, to evolve, which is what our soul wants us to do. An evolution for our soul does not mean being caught up with the politics and what's going on.
Yeah, great point. Great point. Just being caught up in all this mudslinging stuff nonstop is definitely not going to help us to deepen and evolve. I mean, in the most seamless, graceful way, is it? So
absolutely. And if we look at the Earth and its events at the moment, what we are seeing is a change. There's a shift happening, and this is all connected with the cosmos. I can quote Saturn and Pluto and all the rest of it, but in essence, we are shifting as a human race. And that shift is bringing us more into balance between the male and the female, and therefore stepping away from the autocratic decades, millennia that have gone before. And so what happens when there's a shift happening? All the autocrats jump up and shout more loudly because they know their time is over, but they fight and usually use force rather than exercise power to allow themselves to not be let go and shifted aside. And so if one looks upon it in that context, which is the observer, if you look at Lebanon, Hong Kong, Sudan, Brexit in terms of UK, all of these, one could say, are the autocratic structures breaking down, ready for the new wave of humanity to appear. And that's where I come back as a shaman. I put my hat on and say, well, a large part of that is working in tandem with nature, Mother Earth, rather than seeking to exploit Mother Earth, which is the old autocratic way.
Mm-hmm. So what are the things, I mean, one of the aspects of all that gets into as it relates to people just as people living their lives here on this planet at this time, souls living their lives, is like, well, what do we do about these things? Do we how do we navigate that for our own soul's calling best? I mean, you help people in a variety of ways, including helping people in business, right? You help people who are in business to navigate all this stuff and then to see incredible success. So how can the average, CEO or business owner deal with all these things and still follow their soul's calling and not get caught up in the energy of like, well, we need to fight for this and fight for that, and we're back in all the old type of energy. So any wisdom around how to navigate that and be a true, like I say, spiritual rock star about it all?
Absolutely right. And it's a good question, Daniel, because if we become caught up in the, should we say, the histrionics that are going around us, then we're not actually following our soul's calling. Every soul here on the planet is here for one purpose, which is to grow and evolve. And to do that, we need to reconnect with our soul. And so, for example, I don't know if you're aware that a soul can split into 12 parts. And so if one part is left in a story, coming back to what I was saying earlier, such as I need to be poor to be spiritual, then that will impact this life. And so if you bring the soul part back, because the soul is now more whole, that soul can guide the individual more than if it's just, shall we say, 2/3 of a soul or something like that. And so there are these tools and techniques that one can use, and whether it's ancestral lineage or a soul part or karma, all of those create beliefs, reactions, whereas if they are removed, which is in essence what the cosmos is asking us all to do at this juncture, then can evolve freely. And in that sense, connect with the soul. The soul can connect then with source, spirit, God, the divine. And so bring in the guidance as to this is my individual path. These are the insights that I can use to help build my business, rather than this is what I must do because this is what everybody else is doing, which is not the way to success.
Right, exactly. I mean, I feel like as people have been getting empowered, it's been like this, like, raw, we got power, stuff has been going on. And that's all part of finding yourself into your true power. And it's just, I think, people are seeing like some results, but then they see the downfall and they see it's not sustainable. And then it comes into that place of surrender. I mean, I've experienced it myself on my paths in a certain degree, right? I find my power. Whoa, it doesn't always work out so well from that place. Now, yeah, exactly. Just and then finding that true deeper power to allow that to emerge. I guess the thing is like if people have a lot of a sense of a lot of energy, no matter how much you tell them, hey, just listen to your soul, call your soul back. How do you do that? How do you call back in the parts of your soul? And hey, like it sounds passive to people too, right? Like just call in your soul, be whole and listen to God, you're good. And people feel like, oh, well, that sounds like a spiritual bypass. And they say things like that. So what would you say to, what do you have to say about that? How do we handle that? Those kind of.
Well, first of all, Daniel, if life was like that, it would be terribly boring.
Right. Yes.
Whereas it's a question of how high and low we go, but if it has the ups and downs, then we appreciate the ups. We appreciate that moment of light. We appreciate the joy, etc. And so we have to go down a bit, not necessarily all the way down, but we need to go up and down a bit like that, first of all. And then secondly, what I've found over the years is that Many people have asked me if I can help them, whether it's a business or an individual. But my first question to them is, do you wish to change? And I would guess probably over the last 3-4 months, I must have had half a dozen people that I've put the question to, and they've walked away. Because whilst we remain stuck in our comfort zone of whatever that is, we're not prepared to change. We like playing the victim. We like playing the role that we believe for ourselves. We like all the layers of the onion skin that are around us. However, if I consciously decide I'm going to change, then it's possible to use and techniques that I, others, you know, whoever, can help bring people to the level where they listen to the small, quiet voice rather than that loud, critical one that says, you can't do this, you can't do that, and don't do this, and don't do that. And that really is the essence to me of what we're going through as transition for humanity. We are changing, as I said a moment ago, and therefore we need to make the change within us to therefore create the change we want around us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting too. I mean, that we have a sense of individuality and, you know, who am I, my identity and all that stuff. And then you've got the sense of one, you know, no, there's oneness and we're part of everything. So it's all about that. Or, you know, the sense of, I feel like, yeah, like as an individual, sometimes like there's so many layers to it, like you said, like there's so many layers. It's kind of funny when you think about it, right? It's like, oh, I'm a victim. It's poor little me. Who am I? Or it's like, I'm a powerful me. Look out! I'm ready to kick butt and take names. All right, here I go. I'm powerful. And then, you know, then again, that doesn't usually. It's not too sustainable. People run into issues if they want to deny it their whole life. They will, you know, but they run into a lot of issues with that. And then there's the deepening. I always talk about these different aspects, like many people do. And then the deepening where you start getting awake, but then everything's very like, whoa, I don't understand my life anymore. I don't have, my identity isn't as clear and solid as I thought it was. So now who am I? Oh, my identity is false. Who am I though? I don't know. And I think like what you're saying, what you do is you know, and of course I do it in my own way, but like you know, you're bringing in the, you're reintegrating the soul is the way I hear it. You're bringing back that wholeness, and it's not a matter of from the mind perspective of all this stuff. Am I one? Am I true myself yet? Am I? It's a matter of letting it in, and it just is. You know, it just is coming in, and you know when it is, right? You just know.
Exactly. And so, yes, what I do is I use some experience from my business career to help people specifically. So it isn't just, okay, let's go and find a niche market. You need to identify the market that actually resonates with you, that then gives you joy in your life. So it's a joyful business rather than a hard work business. And that then means that you are bringing that joy into all aspects of your life rather than just the business side. Mm-hmm. And so that's where, yes, the tools and techniques can be applied. But if you bring the joy in, which means I'm aligned with what my soul desires, then you have all aspects of your life are full of joy.
Yeah. I find people have a hard time, I mean, myself included to some degrees and levels, and I'm sure you too, like there's something inside sometimes that'll be like, wait a minute, not too much joy, because I mean, I've had an experience in my life. I remember being so happy as a kid, and all of a sudden, like your toy breaks or something, and you're like, oh my God, why did I ever get happy in the first place? It's just all gonna fall apart because your joy is conditional based on what's happening, right? So it's like, oh my God, you know. And I think like people don't trust like this idea that they'll talk about it maybe, right? But sometimes they, oh, it's a good idea, but like there's a sense of not being safe to be fully joyful, be fully yourself, just just be you, it's okay. So what advice or wisdom do you have for people that sense and know that about themselves, that they're holding back their
But
joy and being who they are?
this is back, Daniel, to this critical quiet voice that will not criticize you. And if you can, the more you can listen to that small quiet voice and understand that life is naturally joyful, it's only we that make it unjoyful. And we make it because of this critical voice up here, which says you can't do this, you can't do that. It's not good for you to do this. It's not good for you to do that. All right, that's protection mechanism. That's keeping us in our comfort zone. And what I call our lifeguard, our unconscious mind, our subconscious mind, is very good at protecting us because that's its purpose. The only problem is its definition of protection is stay in the comfort zone. That creates fear if we want to change. Whereas if you turn it round, and these two energies are very, very similar, and say, I am excited now to change rather than I'm fearful of change, that then allows you to move forward with a sense of joy rather than a sense of, oh, do I really want to do this? And so it's changing the sense of what we hear, what we feel. And that's why in my work, I seek to encourage people to feel the decision, whether it's in the gut or wherever it is. But if you feel the decision, that's likely to be coming from your soul, your insights, rather than if you think the decision, which is always coming from this critical mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I find in my days when I'm not feeling as high a level of vibration, it's always because I think I'm supposed to be doing something. Like this should be happening right now. I should be doing this, and I'm not, but I don't feel the energy for it. I want to go do this, but I should be doing this, and this should be happening. Things should be farther along, or those kind of ideas would come into my mind. Like even today, I had some thoughts like that today, right? So it's like, and yet another part of me is like, no, okay, what brings you joy? Just focus there. That's your guidance. That's where you're supposed to be focused. What truly feels like a line center joy for you right now? I mean, just what feels right on. What is that still voice telling right now? And that's why I talk about like meditate and make money and all that sort of thing. And like just to tune in, let it flow, and trust the joy and more. And it's funny, like in the easiest, most magical ways, then things can unfold for you in your life and your business. It's just like, whoa, these new opportunities are just flying in. I didn't have to work hard at all for that. Just let fall in the flow, right?
Absolutely, because what you're doing is you're trusting that you are not alone and that you are supported by the universe, spirit, source, whatever it is you believe in. But if you allow that trust to flow, then, as you say, all these other opportunities that you have no idea about will appear, because the mind only knows what it has experienced, not what is actually fully available. And so it's that potential that we can tap into the more we listen to the quiet voice, rather than this one that is full of stay where you are, because that's what its purpose really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So what if some of the things you've seen for, I'd love to hear like a little bit of, a little bit of an example, like maybe talk about an example of how you've seen big shifts in people where maybe they're downtrodden or whatever issues they had, keeping it confidential, of course, but like just generally speaking, like what kind of shifts you see with people with the sort of support that you bring. I'd love to hear a little bit about that, because it's kind of really interesting to me to hear about that. And I'm sure it would be for our listeners.
Yes, I mean, the one that comes to mind at the moment, Daniel, is a guy in Colorado Springs called Stephen. And when he contacted me, after we'd done some initial work, it was apparent that, first of all, he had a family lineage of should we say, financial difficulties, he also had a belief that nobody would love him if he earned more than 175,000 in a year. He also had a belief that if he had more than $10,000 in the bank, then he certainly would not be loved. And in fact, he would probably be in receipt of some nasty words from people that he wanted to connect with, because he would be seen to be wealthy. Now, what I was able to do was then go back into the ancestral lineage and clear that out, and also then go into the life where he had created the belief that he should not be seen to be wealthy, because if he was, he would not be loved. Mm-hmm. And so that then, having addressed all those issues, he was then ready to follow his dream, which was to establish a conscious business, which he's now done, and moving forward to be the multimillionaire he was looking to be. But he tried over whatever it was, 20 or 30 years or something, and every time he was bouncing up against that financial ceiling that he'd set himself, or the beliefs had been set for him. And so then he could blossom. And what was interesting as a result of that work done with him, his relationship with his wife totally changed. And when we started, they were having severe difficulties, and now they're a nice couple together again.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And it's amazing too to hear that you would be working with some larger scale companies as well, right? That there's an openness within beings, because a lot of times I hear that from people that want to help people in corporations. Oh, are they open enough and all that? And you know, what I'm hearing from you is, oh, absolutely. And in many cases, anyway, the availability is there. We just have to continue to realize, because a lot of times we're just afraid to share who we are with people, and then they'll never get it then. You know, we need to start planting the seeds now and allow ourselves to let people get it, rather than already self-defeating us, saying, oh, these people won't get it, they won't get it, et cetera, et cetera. Because that's the big thing I see with people. They say, oh, people don't get what I do. Yeah, I don't believe that. Like, people get what you do. It's just your own inner hang up. Have you noticed?
Absolutely.
That? Yeah.
Absolutely. And for example, when I was coaching senior manager at IKEA, that's where I learned it was acceptable when we were sitting down discussing, say, a strategic plan. This has good energy and this doesn't have good energy. And so from there, you can then open lots of other doors. And so that to me was another step in that sense of being open, which I wasn't up to that point, well, half open, should we say. But it was when people, or the corporation I was working with, were prepared to be that open, then you can open all sorts of other doors afterwards.
Yeah, I got to, you know, as they say, got to meet them where they are, right? Where they can really, well, if it's got bad energy, you don't want to go with that. That ain't going to work out so well. So, there we go. Hello, right? So that's awesome. So I didn't know if you, we're coming to a close soon. Was there something you wanted to share with myself? You know, is there something quick or brief you wanted to share with me? You talked about maybe sharing something with me as part of this interview. And then you also have, you know, something you would like to share with the audience as well. But yeah, is there something to share with me or the audience that just takes, I don't know, 2-3 minutes or a few minutes that you can do right now, so people get even a deeper sense of the work that you do?
Daniel, do you have any physical ailments?
You know, the one thing I have had back issues too. So I had horrific low back, you know, sciatica type of pain down my left leg. It's, you know, I'm amazingly better than, I was in really bad shape this summer, but right. I've moved through a lot of that. So I would say, yes, I do have that still, but it's at least, to me, it's like, oh, I don't even have that issue. Yeah, I totally do, but it's like so much less than it was. I don't feel like I have it.
That's not what I'm told, Daniel.
I know, no, it's definitely there, right? So, but it's so much better than it was that I'm just so grateful.
There's better, and is it gone?
Yeah, absolutely, that's best.
So, what I'd like you to do, Daniel, is just close your eyes for a moment and take a couple of breaths. Just center yourself. Just center yourself completely. And now feel into that part of your back where you have been experiencing this pain. And once you've felt into it, just tell me what you sensed. Is there a color? Is there a shape? What is it you sense with regard to this pain?
Well, I just kind of visualizing the low back and the tailbone area.
Yep.
It feels good right now. So I don't, as far as feeling, I just feel good at the moment.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what comes up. Just I'm visualizing it. I'm
Okay.
sensing.
So you said you
Now it
had
doesn't feel good. See, now the energy's moving. Now I feel a little bit of sense of discomfort in that area.
Okay. So does it have a color, a shape, or anything to do with it that's sensitive?
It's like a tingling kind of energy.
Okay, good. Now surround that tingling energy with love and light. Completely surround it so that part of it is surrounded.
Okay.
Now, once it's surrounded, ask the tingly feeling, what message does it have for you?
What I've been hearing for a long time, slow down.
Okay, now ask it, what does it mean by slow down?
Be more present.
Right. Now ask it, how does it wish you to be more present?
Well, first thing that comes through is to keep deepening in meditation.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
in
ask it
fact,
what else.
I even get like the first I'm getting an amount that came through. I'm like even like up to an hour, maybe not all the time, but just a feeling like, yeah, really deepen in meditation.
Right. Now ask it, does it have any other suggestions for you to help you slow down?
Getting to spend more quality time with my wife. So to allow for that.
Right. And where would it like you to spend more quality time with your wife?
I get like, romantically, in the bedroom, at dinner, like going out to dinner, things like that, all kinds of, yeah,
Right.
just lots of things like that. Yeah.
Right. Now ask it, is there a particular place where it would like you to spend that quality time?
I'm getting that, getting a sense of like having a plan each week to spend time, more in-depth
Right.
quality time.
Okay. So now allow yourself to have that plan to spend quality time with your wife and family, and wrap that around the love and light so it's completely surrounded.
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Okay, now allow the quality time plan to merge with the love and light and that tingly feeling and what appears. Is it a new color, a new shape, a message? What appears?
Kind of the repetitive message I get all the time, love yourself.
Right. Now ask that message, how is it you should demonstrate loving yourself?
One way is to keep demonstrating that love with others. I see myself hugging a lot of people.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And so if you hug yourself, hug others, then what feeling does that give you within yourself?
Love.
Right. And so now allow that love, that feeling of love, to spread all through your body, from the tip of the head, through the hands, down to the tip of the toes, and deliberately spread it through every aspect of your being.
Yeah, that feels good.
And so how does that now feel, Daniel?
I feel great. I feel good. There is some tension still in my energy.
Right. And where's that tension?
It's upper solar plexus.
Okay. So now feel into the upper solar plexus. Feel that tension.
I feel it even more. Honestly, I actually feel it more in my third eye now. It's moving again.
Okay. That's even better. There's a connection between the two. So let's feel into the solar plexus and the third eye. And is there a color, a shape, anything that is representing the tension?
Kind of see a green color.
Okay. So now surround that green color with love and light.
Okay. Feels good.
So now
Energy opened up in the third eye, yeah.
Okay, now ask the green color, what message does it have for you?
Interesting. It's like it says take control.
Right. So ask it, take control of what?
I'm just hearing your life, and then I hear your wife. It doesn't sound like
okay. Well, there is a combination between the two.
Yeah, right.
So let's focus on the life part and say, now ask it, in which parts of your life do you believe there is no control?
To some degree, to some degrees financial.
Right. And so ask it, is there a particular block or message or anything of that nature connected with the financial aspect of your life?
Can you say that one more time?
Ask the green color, what aspect of your life does it believe you are not in control financially?
Okay. The actions of others, like opinions and actions of others.
Okay. So now ask it, what will indicate to you you are in control of your life, particularly financially?
It's something about tuning in at the highest level. Something about tuning in
Right.
at the highest level.
Okay. So now ask it, can it help? How will it help you to tune into the highest level that is available to you?
Feels like it's going to bring me it just feels like it's going to bring me insights and opportunities. That's all. It's just the clearest as it comes on that one. It's just the feeling
Okay. Okay.
that insights and opportunities will come to me, and by tuning in to the high, in other words, like going past the limiting beliefs I may have, like, well, I don't know about that, and like realizing if you feel really stimulated to reach and work with more and more higher and higher and higher levels of leadership in the world, that's the direction, and trust that. That's what I'm getting right now.
Excellent. Well done, Daniel. So now ask it, how will it know that you are following that path?
It's like I'm hearing like you'll be tuning into that tribe and focused on serving them rather than feeling like you're leaving, other people behind.
Right. And so focus on that feeling of tuning into that tribe. And does it have a color or a shape or anything like that to that feeling of tuning into that higher level tribe?
Yeah, I get an orange color. I see like a man with a mustache. So yeah, that's what I'm getting so far.
Okay. So now wrap that orange color and the mustache around the love and light and the green color and allow them to merge together.
Okay.
And does a new color or shape appear?
I feel like it comes to me like a violet color.
Right. So now ask the violet color, does it have a message for you that of actions you can take over the next 7 days?
I'm getting to be at peace and to meditate more deeply and to journal.
Okay. And so ask it now, is there any other action you can take over the next 30 days to bring that connection with the higher level tribe into place?
Well, I don't know. There's something about, I don't know if it's literal, but I get something about creating a flyer or something. So it's
Okay.
kind of bizarre to my mind, but I make up a flyer. Okay. But that's what I'm hearing so far. Something about creating a flyer.
Okay. And so now ask it, what is the message on the flyer?
Love yourself. Unlimited power and freedom is your success. Something like that. That's the way it comes through to me.
Okay. Okay. And so now ask it, how should you distribute the flyer?
Through the internet, I'm hearing.
Right. Okay. Now ask it, is there any other guidance it can give you at this moment to help you reach to and connect with that level?
Any other guidance to help me connect with what?
To connect with the higher level tribe.
Okay. Just kind of getting to be everywhere on the internet, sharing this this message, which I'm not sharing currently in that way. So
Okay. So now ask it just one more time. Is there any other advice or guidance it has for you at this moment?
no, I get a no for now.
Okay, good. So now just take a few deep breaths, Daniel. Bring yourself back into the room.
Nice.
And
All right.
now my final suggest message from the advice that you received.
The final message is there a final message, did you say?
No, what I was saying is write down the message you received that you were to put on the flyer, and what the actions are that you were advised to take to distribute that flyer.
Okay, I've started. I wrote down everything I could think of right away, and I can listen. I can listen back too.
Oh, absolutely, you have that advantage.
Yeah. So no, that was super powerful. I really love the work you do. I mean, it's not exactly how I do things, but I do similar processes. But that was really cool, and so I'm grateful to be to take that in and experience that big shift that could totally change my entire business and life right there in just a few minutes. So that's incredible.
Absolutely, and that to me is the fun. That's the joy I have from helping somebody to actually make that level up in terms of realizing their potential. Now, obviously, there are things that have to happen afterwards,
Sure.
but you now have a sense of some direction where you can live more to your full potential. Right. than maybe you were aware when we started this interview.
Right, exactly. I mean, like for example, the theme of love yourself, in my mind, it'd be like, oh, that's too generic, that's too basic, that's too whatever, right? So that's what my brain would say. But when you're getting this deeper connected state, doing all the work that we did, it's like, wow, I hear this every single day, love yourself. So of course, that's the message that's going to come through. So that was really awesome. So we're on a little bit of a time limit in a sense right now. So I wanted to just thank you so much for that. And I think it'll be really powerful for other people to hear that. And also, I know you have a free gift for the audience. So I'd love to hear about that. What do you have for the audience?
Well, what I have is a book that I've called The 7 Mystical Ways to Accelerate Your Business and Your Life. And that's downloadable from my website, Shamanic CEO, all one word, .com. And that 7 Mystical Ways would help you, or those that read it, help them create something, not the same as we've just completed, but will open the door to help them accelerate their life and so their business. And there are lots of exercises to help people connect with their own mission, their own vision, and where's that business going to come from and where they're going to take it.
Awesome. So we'll put the link in the show notes as well at Shamanic CEO.com. And this is as you can experience already how powerful this work is. just by tuning in, listening to his wisdom, watching him take me through incredible process. And he's international best-selling author and much more. So someone that's done you've done the CEO stuff in terms of the traditional, and then come a shaman and bridging it all for people now with the work you do. So anyway, so we're I'm just really I need probably some time to just let this integrate now after the interview, but I really just want to thank you for what you shared with me today and for the interview. It's really awesome as well. And I just know that it's going to do great things for myself and for others as well. So thank you, Gregory, so much.
Thank you, Daniel, and I look forward to seeing your name in more shining lights after you start with this love message.
Okay, all right, thank you, and everyone, if you want to check out Gregory and get his free gift, go ahead. And if you want to check out more about me, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com. You can get a Meditate and Make Money download of meditating, and allowing yourself get a powerful download of what might be true for you as well right away too. So, all right. So anyway, that's all for today. I'm so grateful for you, Gregory, and everyone listening in. Much love, light, and laughter, and all good things. And love yourself, right? Okay, start right now today with that message more and more. Okay, love yourself and have a good time. Trust the joy. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Wow, what a pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you so much for listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.